Ignou Meg-02, British Drama, Chapter 1, Christopher Marlowe, Dr. Faustus, Long Question 1. Write a character sketch of Dr. Faustus as overreacher, or what aspect of Renaissance temper do you find in Dr. Faustus? Answer. Marlowe's tragic hero does not fit the ancient pattern of Greek standard. Marlowe has evolved his own concept of tragic hero, known as Marlovian hero, is based on contemporary Renaissance influence. The tragic effect created by the play is a proof that of the validity of this concept of Marlowe. Not just a record of events, Marlowe presents a conflict in Dr. Faustus rather than a mere record of events. Merely to make and carry out a contract is not itself the material of drama. The dramatic, imaginative power of the play depends not upon legal but moral cause and effect. Faustus is no longer an unintelligible magician looked at from the outside, but a living man thirsting for the infinite. It is in this way that Marlowe has succeeded in lending tragic dignity to the sufferings of Dr. Faustus. He is what Harry Levin calls an overreacher. The play is a tragedy of presumption in which a man of humble origin but great learning overreaches and ruins himself. It presents the pathetic figure of a great mind going to ruin. The Faustus legend in this play becomes a symbol of humanity's splendid struggle to reach the stars, the tragic of infinite hopes that come to an end with sorrow. Tragic of Renaissance. Dr. Faustus reveals an important aspect of the Renaissance temper. He represents the spirit of excess that is reflected in every aspect of life. He is moved by the personal lust for power and indomitable passion. This is what makes him a true incarnation of the spirit of Renaissance. Faustus, like other Marlovian heroes, is distinguished by his fiery passion, capacity for infinite struggle, and the Renaissance lust for power, beauty, wealth, and knowledge. Marlovian heroes, pointed out by Swinburne, are the embodiments or manifestation of single qualities and single forces. Simons defines them as the daydreams of their maker's deep desires. They are, according to him, projected from his subjectivity and not from the man around him. They are made convincing by sheer imaginative insight into the dark mysteries of nature. They are all of superhuman size. They are all massively drawn. They are all titanic figures who challenge the force which ultimately proved too great for them. They stand all by themselves and dwarf and overshadow all other characters. They are lonely figures in a world of Lilliputian. Tamberlane is obsessed by the desire for world conquest. Faustus seeks infinite knowledge and the satisfaction of physical desires. Barabbas has an unlimited passion for revenge. They seem to illustrate Machiavelli's prince whose only desirable virtue is ambition and who denies all morality except that which operates for his own good. He also represents a typical Christian view of man, as Niebuhr has pointed out in his book Self and the Dramas of History. Man is made in the image of God and therefore it is natural for him to desire to be all powerful like God. But man by nature has limited power. His desire to transcend himself is bound to be frustrated. This is the typical tragic predicament. Passion for power. Foster wishes to be a center of power. It is with this end in view that he pursues the study of black art. This pursuit of magic will put at his command all things that move between the quiet poles. He believes that a sound magician is a semi-god. Like Tamberlane, he wishes to be a great emperor of the world. I will join the hills that bind the Afric shore and make that country continent to span and both contributory to my crown. The emperor shall not live but by my lip, nor any potentiate in Germany. He did not mind the traditional morality. He appears to be at least as great as devil, if not as God. He seeks a vision of greatness which is denied by the laws that govern human beings. A king commands power only in his kingdom, but Faustus controlled the elements by those magics. Passion for sensuous pleasure. The Elizabethan age was an age of glitter and pomp. The Elizabethans were admirers of beauty. True to this spirit, Faustus wishes to live in all voluptuousness, sensuousness. He would send the spirit to search all corners of the new-found world for pleasant fruits and princely delicates. He summons blind Homer to sing of Alexander's love and Oenon's death. He listened to the music of Amphion, who raised the walls of Thebes with music. He calls the spirit of Helen, the face that launched 1,000 ships and burned the topless towers of Ilium. He yearns for a kiss of Helen that will make him immortal. He is thus truly a microcosm of Renaissance humanism. This love for sensuous pleasure is reflected when one of the first desires mentioned by Faustus is to have a wife. This craze for carnal delights is both the cause and effects of his suffering. It is this passion that leads him astray, and he drowns his inner conflicts in this existing worldly happiness. Inner conflict. As a tragic hero, Faustus introduced an element of inner conflict for the first time in English drama. In the words of Ellis Fermor, Faustus remains an almost unique record of spiritual tragedy. This spiritual tragedy is presented in a medium capable of isolating the spiritual elements. These elements are preserved unmixed with any other elements of life. The conflict in this play is not between man and man, nor in the interaction of a group of characters as in Aeschylus' play Eumenides. The hero is surrounded by the spiritual powers. The scene is not set on any spot of the physical earth, but in the limitless region of the mind. The battles fought are not for kingdoms or crown, but upon the questions of man's ultimate fate. He has to choose between the possibility of escape to spiritual freedom and a doom of slavery to hellish force. He rejects the Christian values and asserts the pagan values. His choice is carried to the extreme by his Renaissance idealism. It leads to a deep conflict between the divine will and the human will, a conflict between desire and awareness, gradual deterioration. Being highly ambitious like Milton's Satan, Faustus undergoes a similar deterioration and degeneration, and therein lies his tragedy. He seeks to have a world of profit and delight, of power, of honor, and of omnipotence. He does start with an ambition of world conquest and securing all knowledge. He does satisfy his lust for knowledge and questions Mephistopheles about the nature of hell, heaven, and the earth. He moves in a dragon-drawn chariot through various planets. He listens to Homer and Amphion. He enjoys the beauty of Helen, but he forgets all about his lust for power. He doesn't build any brass wall around Germany nor any bridge joining Spain with Africa. Instead of becoming a world emperor, he is reduced to the level of an entertainer and a juggler. His mischief with the Pope reduces him to the level of a buffoon. His trick with the horse dealer is like that of a clown. His fetching the grapes in winter is cheap, so massive that jugglers performs even now. He had rejected medicine because it could not turn the dead into living. He had decided to pursue the black art because it would help him control the elements. But in actual practice, he fails to avoid his own death and cannot stop the movement of time. The comic scenes rightly parody his efforts, but all this deterioration and degeneration is not sudden. The change in him is gradual, like in Satan in Paradise Lost, from the ridicule of Pope to the ridicule of a knight and then to the ridicule of an ordinary horse dealer indicates this steady downfall. In the beginning, he calls Mephistopheles and can command him. Later, he depends on Mephistopheles to do everything, but ultimately the evil spirits dominates him and he seeks to drown his grief into sensuous pleasures. Hence, he represents himself as a feeble man with a great mind who brings his own end.